What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Awesemo Fantasy Football channel, talking some NFL draft prospects ahead of the 2022 class. And we're continuing the running back position today with Michigan State's Kenneth Walker. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We're also brought to you today by Underdog Fantasy. Many of you probably know Underdog from their best ball drafts, but they have contests of all sorts, including live drafts, pick'em contests where you can win up to 20 extra entry fee. Use the promo code Awesemo and earn a match deposit bonus up to $100. Make sure to check out Underdog Fantasy today. Diving into today's prospect, we're going to continue the running back position with Michigan State's Kenneth Walker. Talked Breece Hall previously, and these are widely considered the top two running backs in this class. Looking at Kenneth Walker, he's a little bit smaller than Breece. He's 5'9", 211 pounds. 40-yard dash, almost identical. Kenneth Walker had the slight edge here, a 4.38, so blazing speed. Still very athletic for Walker, 34-inch vertical, and he is just barely 21 years old. He is about 21 and a half when the draft will come. Coming out of high school, this is a guy that largely was under-recruited, a three-star prospect. He was the number 143 running back in the 2019 class. He's from Arlington, Tennessee. Now, he actually only had one Power 5 offer, and that was to Wake Forest. Instead of playing at a lower level of competition, he takes it, and he bursts onto the scene immediately. Now, the best year came at Michigan State after the transfer, but in his first 2 years, he was still able to accumulate 579 yards apiece with Wake Forest in what was a committee. Solid enough production to transfer up to a larger program in Michigan State. Now, this is where the true breakout happens in 2021. He carries 263 times for 1,636 yards and 19 overall scores, one of those coming through the air. Not used too much as a receiver, just 16 targets on the year, 13 receptions, 89 total yards, but this was not a focal point of the Michigan State offense. And they're a team that played from ahead a lot this year. And when they did so, they took the air out of the ball and had one of the higher run rates in the country. Overall, they were passing the ball 47% of the time. But we saw pretty drastic splits depending on the game script for Michigan State. Kenneth Walker was playing behind a solid offensive line here. They were 20th in pass blocking, 29th in run blocking. Still, Kenneth Walker created a ton by himself. And I want to highlight some games overall first. When we look down the schedule, there is just elite production across the board. This guy debuted against Northwestern, 264 rushing yards on the ground, put up 172 against the Miami Hurricanes, put up 233 against Rutgers, 197 against Michigan, and 5 touchdowns in what was a crazy game overall for Kenneth Walker and the Spartans. 136 against Purdue, 143 against Maryland, and 138 against Penn State. This guy was doing it all on the ground for Michigan State. And when we look at some of the advanced metrics, this guy is an incredible prospect. He returned some kicks for Wake Forest. He had 7 kick returns as a freshman, and he's amazing in terms of forced missed tackles and yards after contact per attempt. When we talked Breece Hall, you can check out that video on the same channel. These were concerns. One of the concerns with Breece was that the athleticism didn't always match up to on-field production in terms of forced missed tackles and yards after contact, 2 premier metrics that evaluate what a running back does independent of the offensive line and the offense. Kenneth Walker, 3.4 forced missed tackles per attempt, was 3rd overall in this class, and 4.46 yards after contact per attempt, 4th in this class. And he has a lot more carries than the running backs ahead of him on this list. The numbers in 2020, 2019, also solid for Kenneth Walker. So this is a running back who is elite at carrying the ball and creating yards on his own, something that is always going to be coveted at the NFL level. When we go back and look at Walker's profile, there are a couple concerns. As you can see on this screen, the receiving game is going to be a concern. And then the size, he's just a little smaller than some of the premier runners in this league. So looking at Walker, where does he go moving forward? He's still largely mocked at the end of the first round, the early second round, as the first or the second running back off the board. Unlike Breece Hall, who really doesn't have concerns across the board other than the athleticism not matching the tape production, Walker has a couple. One, how does he look in the receiving game at the NFL? Is this a guy who is pigeonholed into 2-down work and off the field for third downs, we're not sure. And we've seen some running backs in recent memory squash some of those concerns. Melvin Gordon and Jonathan Taylor, they were running backs lightly used in college in the pass game, but then displayed that ability in the pros. So it's not that he can't do it, it's just that he hasn't been asked to. But then at his size, how does he hold up in the NFL? When we look at some of the player comparisons for Kenneth Walker with his size, athleticism, and production, there are some elite players here. We have Jerick McKinnon, we have J.K. Dobbins, Darrell Henderson, Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, all players that have been very productive at the NFL level, but there is one common theme across the board with these players. They've all struggled to stay healthy at one point or another in their careers, each and every one of them. And when we expand the player comparison list, that is another concern here. So Kenneth Walker, widely viewed as a 3-down back, but he's only 211 pounds. Is he somebody that's best left in a committee, or can he handle the full workload? I see him coming off the board early second round to perhaps one of the running back needy teams. You have some teams drafting in that range like the New York Jets, maybe not the best fit, already dealing with Michael Carter, but could he be used in Houston to complement Marlon Mack? Could a team like Tennessee draft him to complement Derrick Henry? Probably not because of the pass catching woes, but maybe a team like Arizona who's looking for that complement to James Conner after losing Chase Edmonds. Ultimately, we will see, but let me know in the comment section where you see Kenneth Walker coming off the board and to what team. I am Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.